Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We're going to begin this new week with the country in a heated showdown over reopening the economy. And as we come on the air, the outbreak is getting worse in some parts of the country. At the same time, other areas are lifting stay-at-home orders. Tonight, Texas is allowing people into state parks, and Georgia's governor says gyms as well as hair and nail salons can reopen Friday with some restrictions, theaters and restaurants next Monday. And Tennessee says it's back to work for the majority of its businesses on May 1st. All of this comes as protests against social distancing are sprouting up with the support of the president. And that is angering some state leaders who say they desperately need help with a nationwide testing strategy before lifting their orders. Well, today, the vice president told governors he's worried about spikes in the Chicago, Boston, and Philadelphia metro areas. The virus has now taken more than 41,000 lives in the U.S. More than 782,000 cases have been confirmed. And tonight, something truly extraordinary. With so few Americans driving and nowhere to store it, future prices for crude oil are now negative, suggesting producers are willing to pay customers to take oil off their hands. Our team is covering it all, and Janet Shamlian leads us off tonight outside Houston. Janet?
Nora, this is Brazos-Benz State Park outside of Houston, one of the 95 Texas state parks that reopen today as long as face coverings are worn. It is part of the governor's plan to reopen the state. Other governors today announcing their plans. And it comes amid increasing protests across the country, people demanding their economies reopen.
At Pennsylvania's Capitol, the frustrated crowded together, few with facial coverings, to protest the state's stay-at-home order.
I'd rather be working. I really would, and I really wish they would open this up.
Some were confronted by nurses in the street. One healthcare worker stood defiantly, framed by an American flag. Demonstrations in several states, many organized on Facebook, which today said it's removing the groups if the protests violate a state's gathering guidelines. Some states are now slowly lifting restrictions. Today, South Carolina announced it's opening beaches tomorrow. Georgia's governor will allow hair salons and gyms to open Friday. Today, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer struck back against the antisocial distancing sentiment.
This action isn't about our individual right to gather. It's about our parents' right to live. President Trump called this a war, and it is exactly that. So let's act like it.
The crisis is taking an economic toll. The collapse of oil prices drove the stock market lower. Disney announced it will stop paying some 100,000 workers. And at least 3 JBS meat plants have been closed due to COVID-19 infections. In the COVID-19 epicenter of New York City, 911 calls have dropped 50%. And the state has seen its lowest 24-hour death toll in 18 days. The flood of patients may be slowing, but Mount Sinai ER doctor Matthew Bai says it's not just the elderly.
When the young patients come in and they don't end up making it, it takes an emotional toll on everyone. It makes us realize that everyone can be affected.
Including one of the youngest. 5-year-old Skylar Herbert died of COVID-19 Sunday, the daughter of 2 Detroit first responders, a police officer and a firefighter. She had been on a ventilator for 2 weeks. Skylar's story is the type of heartbreak motivating retired Marine Josh Landrus.
I'm a disabled veteran and used to play taps, and I thought it would be important to play taps to remember those who have fallen to coronavirus.
Every night, trumpet sounds echo through his Queens, New York neighborhood when he plays taps. A salute to those on the front lines, a goodbye to the lives lost.
And in addition to the parks opening here in Texas today, stores can open on Friday, but only for curbside pickup. Looking ahead, Georgia is going to open its restaurants next Monday, and Tennessee is lifting almost all of its restrictions starting May 1st. Nora?
These changes coming soon. Janet, thank you.